lighting. We have this super filthy BMW 328i. This thing is daily driven, super dirty. The wheels are super dirty. The headlights are messed up, and you guys don't even want to see how bad the interior is. So join us. We're going to be doing a full series on this BMW and transforming it and making it look hopefully as good as new.
Do you have hazy headlights ruining the look of your ride? Well, today in this video, I'll be showing us how to properly restore them using a torque arc polisher, our headlight restorer, and wet sanding kit. Let's get started. As you guys can see, these BMW headlights are completely gone. I mean, there's no longer clarity to it, and it's also deceiving the look of the ride. One key factor about having hazy headlights is going to be the vision you have at night. So today, I'll be showing you guys how to properly restore them fast and easy using our torque arc and our arsenal of products over here. So let me just get my piece of tape, and I'll be putting a piece of tape down the middle, just so I can show you guys a 50-50 of how a headlight is supposed to look compared to how it currently looks. So on my left-hand side is going to be the before, and on this side is going to be my after. Before you get into the polishing part, you have to go ahead and clay bar the surface of the vehicle. The reason why I want to clay bar the headlights is because I want to remove any contamination that the headlight might have. So I grab my hand and I rub it. You guys can hear how much contamination there actually is on the headlight. And what ends up happening whenever you wet sand it, you're going to be pushing all that contamination deeper into the headlight, and you might scratch them. So this is why I'll be using the OG clay bar, just to go ahead and clay bar the surface and remove any contamination from the lens. So I'll just grab my OG clay bar, rip off a small portion of it. I'll put the rest of the clay bar back into this little box. I'll store it away. And now you guys can see how big this piece of clay bar actually is. So I'll roll it up into a ball, and then I'll pat it down into a little pancake-like shape. And once I already have it in a pancake shape and it's 3 with finger, I'll go ahead and attach it to my fingers. And you guys can see how sticky this clay bar actually is. And now I'll grab my clay Luber. I'll spray it directly onto the surface. I'll grab my clay bar, spray my clay bar, and I'll just glide it side to side. And what this is going to do is going to remove any contamination that the headlight might have. So whenever I use a sanding block, it's going to not rub in any more contamination deeper into the lens. So after a couple passes, I start to feel that the headlight turns smooth. I'll put my clay bar down, and you guys can see how much contamination there actually is on this clay bar. Around the rim of this clay bar, you guys can see it has this brownish effect. All of that is just contamination, and what ends up happening over time, if you do not clay bar this out, this is what ends up happening to your headlights. It goes ahead and turns them dull, turns them yellow. So I'll just put this off to the side. I'll make sure re-knead it and store it away safely later on. I'll buff off the residue. So now that I went ahead and clay barred the surface of this headlight, now is perfect time to go ahead and start wet sanding. So I'll just put my polisher down, and I'll get my wet sanding block with my grits. So we have 2 different types of grit sandpapers. On my left-hand side, your right-hand side, this is 3000 grit. And on my right-hand side, your left-hand side, this is 2000 grit. So we're gonna start off with the much heavier sanding grit, which is going to be the 2000 grit. So all I'll do is just unattach the back, and then I'll just lay it on to the pad. And like this, I could have a perfect amount of pressure and perfect amount of coverage whenever I am doing the headlights. So all you need to do is just peel off the sanding sheet, make sure it's evenly on there. And the cool thing about having the flex pad pink pad is going to be it's going to contour to your area, and on the other side it's going to contour directly onto the surface you are wet sanding. So you guys can see it is perfectly on there now. The pink side is a little bit more durable, so you can just hold it on directly onto your hand and it'll be easier to maneuver. Compared to the gray side, it's going to be squishy. Like this, if you're dealing with a contour area, it's going to contour onto the surface, and you get an even coverage around the whole entire surface. So now it is time to get into the wet sanding part. Let me just get my water, just regular water. I'll go to the area I'll be wet sanding. I'll spray it directly onto it. Let me put it onto the mist. I'll be very generous with this. So I'll spray directly on it. I'll spray some onto my wet sanding sheet, and I'll just go side to side just so I can remove any oxidation this headlight might have. And by doing this, I'm removing all the oxidation that the headlight has, so whenever I use Headlight Restorer, it's going to restore a lot much better. So you guys might ask me, can I just use Headlight Restorer by itself? And the answer is yes. But in this occasion, since the headlights on this BMW are completely tarnished, we recommend wet sanding before anything and then move on to the Headlight Restorer. So if you have dull headlights that are too far gone, we recommend doing this process. But if you have a newer vehicle that the headlights aren't so far gone, that's when you could just go ahead and use Headlight Restorer with a polisher and just polish them out directly. So let me just finish wet sanding the surface. Once I am done, I'll go on to the next sheet, which is going to be the 3000 Grit Sandpaper. It's going to be the same exact process. And once I'm finally done, I'll get into the polishing part, which is the torque R and the Headlight Restorer. Let's get started.
Ready, set, go!
Alright guys, so I just finished wet sanding the surface of this headlight, and you guys can see I also applied new tape. The reason why I applied new tape is because the water and tape did not mix, and whenever I was using the wet sanding block, the tape got saturated, and then I want a perfect line, and I don't want it to peel off whenever I am polishing. So now it is time to move on to the polishing part, and by using Headlight Restorer, I will go ahead and restore the headlights. But you guys might ask me, what type of pad should I use? I'll be using my polisher and my 3-inch pad, so I'll just reattach this on here, center it directly, and as you guys can see, it is ready to go. I went with the 3-inch pad. The reason why I went with a 3-inch pad is because I want to make sure I go ahead and get directly onto a headlight. If I had a 6-inch pad, unfortunately, it'll be hitting the tape, so this is why I lowered it down to a 3-inch backing plate with a 3-inch pad. So anyways, guys, how do you actually polish out your headlights? It's very simple. Get Headlight Restorer, shake it up before using it, open up the spout. I like to apply 3 dots onto my polishing pad. 1, 2, 3. And before I get into the polishing part, I actually have to use a conditioner, and that is called pad conditioner. The pad conditioner is going to lubricate the pad, and it's going to keep it moist, so it will go ahead and avoid any marring, any pigtails, or just reduce friction onto the surface I am working on. So now that I sprayed pad conditioner onto the pad, it is time to get into the polishing process. So I'll go to the surface, I'll blotch it out directly onto the area I'm working on, and then on speed setting 1, I will just spread it out, and then I will bump it up to speed setting 3 and work it in. So let me just show you guys how easy it is to spread out onto your headlight. So speed setting 1, and since I am dealing with a rotary, I will be turning on the machine away from the surface, and then I'll be applying the machine directly onto the surface once it's already turned on. Alright guys, so now that I spread out Headlight Restorer directly onto a headlight, now it's time to work it in. So I will return on the machine, I'll click this button 3 times, I'll work it in directly onto the surface until it turns clear or translucent, then I'll buff off the residue so I can show you guys the result. Let's get started. 1, 2, 3. All right, guys, so now that I finished polishing out the headlight, now it's time to buff off the residue. So I'll just grab a clean microfiber towel. I'll go to the area I polished, and I'll just buff off the residue. And you guys can already see the results are night and day. I mean, the headlight is now clear. The owner of this vehicle can actually see at night, and is not going to be a hazard. So if I remove the tape, you guys can see the amazing 50-50 that I achieved. This side has yellow, has dullness, has cloudiness, compared to this side, now it's clear as glass. So guys, if you guys want to achieve these results onto your headlights, I recommend you hop onto our website right now, chemicalguys.com, and pick up any of these products that I use today. From accessories to products to machines, you will find that on our website right now, chemicalguys.com. Or if you want to drive to your local detail garage, I recommend you do so. We have over 85 detail garage locations in Canada, US, and even the UK. And as always, guys, I'm Henry. Thank you for sharing your passion for sharing with Chemical Guys, and we'll see you guys next time right here at the Chemical Guys Detail Garage. And before you go, I have the rest of these headlights to do, so enjoy this montage.